5 shocking things about being a trainee solicitor. As some of you guys already know, I've started working as a trainee solicitor for almost 2 months now. I just want to share with you something I find interesting or something I never even thought about before becoming a trainee solicitor. So I think you should definitely know these things before starting your training contract in the future. The first shocking thing is about billable hours. Billable hours is just not something you hear a lot about in your daily lives or in law school because they never really teach you.
What's that?
Sir Lewis's billables for the last 15 years.
So basically the billable hour system is when a lawyer records or jot down how they spend every single minute of their day in order to bill the client later for the matters they're working on. So when the client look at their bill, they will understand how many hours have been spent in doing this task or that task. For some firms, they may expect their lawyers to spend at least 80% of their time on billable work. But for other firms, they may set targets like you need to spend 8-hour days on billable work. So it really depends. There's no right or wrong. It's more like the culture or the expectation of different firms. If you're a trainee solicitor, they expect you to learn, so you're not required strictly to meet the target all the time. I remember the first few things my supervisor or the partners told me is that you also need to develop a good habit of recording your time, because this is important, because what you put in your time regarding the work will be seen by the clients so that they know the fee is reasonable and is necessary in that particular case. Usually when you record your time, you also need to kind of put the narratives and to kind of describe what exactly you do. I think it's just a new concept for me when I first started as a trainee solicitor, because in the past when I worked as a paralegal at different firms, I didn't really need to bill my time. The next question you will be worried about is whether you can qualify back in the firm you are trained with. That's a very important question, because when you look at law firms before you apply, you probably come across the term retention rate, whether the firm will want you after you finish your training with them. As a trainee solicitor, you kind of need to experience at least 4 different departments. So at the end, you will need to decide which department you are going to apply to in order to become an associate in that particular department. So basically, by the end of each seat, your supervisor or the lawyers you work with will give you an evaluation of your performance. And I think nowadays many law firms use the scale of 1 to 5 to determine your performance. So of course 1 is the lowest and 5 is the best. If you get 5, that means you're really good as a trainee solicitor. And based on what I heard from many law firms or people I know who work at other law firms as well, quite a lot of people will get 3, which is not bad actually. It means you perform quite decently. Usually people won't get a score lower than 3, but 5 is probably more exceptional. I think that kind of low-key freaks me out sometimes, because I feel like, oh, I passed all the law school exams, I've become a lawyer now, but still at this stage, I still need to pass another hurdle. The reason why I make this particular video is also that I recently talked to a friend of mine who is now working in another international law firm as well. We also kind of talk about it, about our evaluation, and we also know that some people are struggling to apply to the department they want to qualify in because of the places available and also because of their performance evaluations. So I think this is just a common fear among maybe trainee solicitors, especially you're new to this industry, you don't know how to, do well. I think it doesn't really affect me much anyway, even though I realize these facts, because I still need to work hard and do a good job. If they want me, they want me. If they don't want me, they don't want me. So that's it. Next shocking thing for a trainee solicitor is you'll realize how important it is for you to choose the suitable seat and also the department for you. Because as I mentioned, most people have 4 options they can choose from. I spoke to a lot of lawyers, and most of them told me that before they start their training contract, they have a preference seat or like department. But after finishing the 2 years of training, they will realize, okay, that is not what I want, and I actually want something else. So you will only know until you experience that department. You experience the people there to know whether you like it or not. So at the end of the day, what we can do is to keep an open mind. I think that's very important. For my first seat is tax. I never expected I would like working in a tax department. It's not my priority seat, but I'm surprised that I'm liking it a lot as well. So when you pick your seat in the future, just don't be too harsh on yourself. I mean, you don't need to pick the perfect combination of seats. Even though there is a scenario, for example, you are not allocated to the seat you want, don't feel demotivated because you never know. You may end up liking that seat. Another thing I find it shocking is the cultural difference across different departments and also firms. So I remember I was talking to this friend and he just told me he has been working until like 2 a.m. or 12 a.m. almost every day in the past few weeks. I was like, oh my god, that was like crazy. At the same time, I realized that that's also the reality, because sometimes the fact that you choose this particular department, you also need to be prepared that you may need to work for long hours when demanded. I think that just makes me realize how different the training experience could be if you're in this department or that department. So finally, I just want to mention one thing about the quality of training. Sometimes the quality of the work you get and also the type of training experience you have depends on your proactivity. Whether you always ask and reach out to people for work. And based on what I heard, I think it's always good as a trainee solicitor to get involved in maybe 1 or 2 big matters with big clients. In that case, you will be guaranteed some sort of work throughout the seat, because usually a matter can last for a very long time. I would say that I didn't really think about these things that carefully before starting my training contract. So I think if you're going to start your training contract, or if you will start your training contract in the future, these are something that you may want to bear in mind so that you can have a more positive experience. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like or subscribe to this channel, and let me know in the comment section below what kind of video you want to watch as well. I often listen to you guys if you give me some specific suggestions. I'm actually taking a break in my weekend. I just want to chill before I go back to work again on Monday. And I hope you guys have a lovely Sunday, and I will see you guys again next Sunday. Bye.